Now we will see how to configure headless Wi-Fi Raspberry Pi setup. That means without any monitor or any display, how to get the Raspberry Pi's output in our mobile or in laptop or uh, any devices without using the Ethernet cable. Okay, here we have the Ethernet port. So by connecting this Ethernet port and using the IP address, that method also we can do this. But now we don't have anything, we just have only the USB cable. Now how to do this, that means how to transform all the data from this operating system completely to our any of the systems, that means the laptop or anything. So for that, initially yeah, it is running now, but I don't have anything to see what's happening. So I'm just disconnecting it, and I'm taking this SD card out from this Raspberry Pi. Here you can see I'm just removing this SD card. Okay, yeah. Now I'm again inserting this to the card reader. Okay, here we have that card reader. I'm again inserting this to the card reader, uh, and in that I'm inserting it to the laptop. Okay, because we need to change something in the OS. That means we need to add something to the OS so that we can get access to that OS, that means a running OS from the through IP address or from the external devices. So now I just connect that, and okay, uh, here you can see this is now this boot eye something, that's the size also reduced. That means the remaining file system is used by the that means functioning of that OS. So now this is the main OS that we burnt to the Raspberry Pi. Okay, I just opened that SD card. This is that SD card, boot. It will just rename renamed as boot. Okay, automatically it will name as the boot. Now we need two files. Okay, that I have here, and that I will just provide in the descriptions, those two files. So one is this WPA supplicant.conf, that means configuration, and another one is the SSH. This SSH means it is just a blank file, nothing is there inside, but just we need to add this blank file to the our OS here, bootai, so that it will on SSH on the Raspberry Pi. When we plug in, it will directly on the SSH means that's for connection. Okay, so in order to create this SSH, I'm just going to delete this. Okay, how we can create means just right click and just go to new and just go to this text document and just press Ctrl A, completely delete all the names along with the extension. Just type SSH and click enter, and again click enter. Now that SSH file is created. Okay, that's simple, you can also create. So now another one is the WPA supplicant.conf. Okay, in this we need to provide the name of the Wi-Fi hotspot. So in this method, make sure that your laptop as well as the Raspberry Pi both have to connect to one hotspot. That means we need one mobile and one laptop and one Raspberry Pi. So you just on the hotspot in the mobile and connect your laptop to that hotspot, and even you need to give the name of that Wi-Fi hotspot and the password of that Wi-Fi hotspot in this file. Okay, this is for the Raspberry Pi. So both have to connect to the same network, or else if you have any routers in your home, then you can connect your laptop or your mobile to that router, and similarly this Raspberry Pi to the router, so that you can view the Raspberry Pi output in the mobile. Like that, both has to be, it is like triangle. Here is your Raspberry Pi, here is the that router, and here is the other device that you need to see from this Raspberry Pi. So now I'm filling these two. Okay, I'm filling these two now. You just have to fill your, yeah, I just filled those SSID, that means my hotspot name and password, and I saved that. So now we just have to move these two, that means copy, or okay, you just make this copy of these two, press and copy to our boot type, that means our SD card. You just copy paste these two, so these two files get pasted. So now if we insert this SD card to the Raspberry Pi, that will automatically connect it to that hotspot that we provided username and the password, so that it will form the network. And even the SSH, that means whatever the things that are in the OS running, that will be pushed to that network, that means common network, so we can access the Raspberry Pi OS from any of the devices which is connected to that network. So now I just this one, what's that, added these two files to the boot type. Now I'm removing the SD card, and I'm again inserting this to the Raspberry Pi. Okay, this is my SD card. This one again I'm inserting this to the Raspberry Pi here. Okay, now turn on your Raspberry Pi. Okay, we will connect. Yeah, we'll connect it, and here you can see. Okay, I'm just showing my hotspot now. Here you can see its connection. Now one device is connected, that's my laptop. Yeah, two devices, that means now Raspberry Pi connected to my hotspot. Okay, my mobile hotspot, I'm just using the mobile hotspot. So now both the devices are connected. Now the next step is to find the IP address of this Raspberry Pi. So it has some IP address, we need to find its IP address. So if we get that IP address, then by using that we can access to the Raspberry Pi. So for that IP address, we have another software called Advanced IP Scanner. Okay, another simple technique is you can use another mobile. In that you download one app called Network Scanner. Okay, that I will provide in the description. Network Scanner. Connect another that mobile to this same hotspot and just click on the scan network. It will directly display the Raspberry Pi IP address. Otherwise, if you don't have the another mobile, then in the laptop we have Advanced IP Scanner, this one software. Okay, this link also I will provide. Just click on this, and we need to install this, or we can directly run even. Okay, I'm just directly running this software now because I need to find the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. So just click on this scan. In mobile, in that app also it is similar. It will scan all the IP addresses from 192.168.48.1 to 254, and it will show us the IP address here. Now, yeah, here this is my IP address of my Android, and this is the Raspberry Pi. We need to note this IP address. Okay, so what are all the things that is connected to this network will show here, all the things. So now it is 192.168.43.176. I'm just copying this IP address. Now this software work is over. Okay, I just copied this. Now in order to view the content, that means in order to view all these Raspberry Pi's OS output, we can use the putty, or that is one software, PUTTY. Okay, but in that we cannot able to see the graphical user interface. Okay, I think we can't see the graphical user interface. So I'm using this MOBA Xterm software. You can download this MOBA Xterm. Just go to Google and search MOBA Xterm. Okay, Then install this. We need to click on this, and after the extraction you just click on this and click next and click install. I already installed this one, so I'm just opening that. MOBA external is the software I'm opening, and okay, it takes some time. Yeah, MOBA external. So now okay, I think you can see this. Now just go to the session. That means we need to create now SSH. We just before we inserted one file called SSH to the Raspberry Pi OS. So that SSH, using this SSH, we are connecting. Now remote host, that means the IP address that we just copied. Just click Ctrl V. This is the IP address. Okay. Now click OK. Okay. Now it will ask for login as. The default username is Pi. Pi. Just click enter. There is no any password. It will directly come Raspberry Pi. Okay, directly come as Pi at Raspberry Pi. Now this is the actual command prompt of the Raspberry Pi, which is coming from the Raspberry Pi. Here you can see the file system which is inside the Raspberry Pi. Okay, this is like a terminal. This side is like terminal, and this side this is like the file browser. Here we have many options, like we can upload anything from our computer to the Raspberry Pi, or we can even, if I select this and click this, it will just going to download that file from Raspberry Pi to our computer. Like that, many options are there in this default file browser which is in the MOBA external. Okay, now in order to start the graphical user interface, that means like as we connected a monitor to the Raspberry Pi, how it will come, similar to that, from this command prompt we can get that graphical interface in this MOBA external. So just type startlxde. These commands I will give in the description. Startlxde. Okay, just click enter. Now this will going to start the lxde session. That means a desktop, graphical user desktop. So for now I'm just going to minimize this one, and even this also I minimize. Okay, yeah, I got that graphical desktop. It will automatically come. Okay, yeah, here you can see this is my, now my laptop screen becomes the Raspberry Pi actual graphical screen. Now you can go to start, and here you will get the Raspberry Pi's output, and here preferences and system tools, this music, it's Raspberry Pi's VLC's player, and programming, Genie and Thorny IDs, internet, and accessories. Okay, now this is the file manager of the Raspberry Pi. So here you can see this is the Raspberry Pi's file manager. This has this much. And if you just want to switch to back to our Windows, then you just press this Windows button. That is the just two buttons right of this control button from the left corner. I think you know this Windows symbol button. Then you will get, this is our Windows start menu. Okay, so our Windows start menu, and or else you can just drag this one like this. Wherever you want you can keep, and yeah, I think you've understand how to set up this Raspberry Pi headless. That means without any monitor, how to get this display. And here also we have the command prompt, that is the lx terminal. This is the command prompt that we can use in this graphical interface itself, or else you can just go to that MOBA external. There also directly we can use this one, and in the file manager and many programming IDEs, everything you can install from the command line here. So this is how we can use the graphical display. Now just to cancel this, just Ctrl C. Now that graphical display will gone. Now we have only this command prompt, and from now I think you successfully connected. So from the next session we will start the machine learning. Okay, the required packages, installation, all those things we will start from the next session. Thank you.